We're good to go.
All right, thank you. Good luck on finals.
Yeah.
All right, I will call to order this May 3rd, 2022 meeting of Lawrence County Board of Commissioners. Will all please rise for the pledge of allegiance, followed by a brief moment of silence. John, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And all please remain standing for a brief moment of silence. Thank you. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Here.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here.
Commissioner Boyd?
Here. We have a quorum. I will note that we are being live streamed right now. It's being broadcast through our YouTube channel for public consumption. We're also being recorded internally in that microphone and these microphones for our purposes and compiling the minutes. And to that end, if anyone having business before the board, I'd ask if they come up here and speak at least in proximity to that microphone. Again, just so we can pick that up for our backup records. Row officer reports and comments. I'm looking out into the audience today. I'm not seeing any row officers or representatives thereof. Public comment, gentlemen, we can either do your recognition either at the time we vote on the resolution, or we can do it now, whichever one you prefer.
Always to the preference of the commissioners.
I have no preference. Do you have a preference?
I'm fine with right now.
Right now,
We'll
it's
do it now?
fine, yeah.
Yeah. Joanna, I'm horrible with names, so I apologize.
Ben.
Ben, you'd be able to come up and
Sure.
from First Energy.
Well, we have nothing for First Energy business. We're just coming in. Well, I guess for First Energy, Ben Wagner will be taking over my role as the liaison from Head Power to the commission and other elected officials in the county, starting officially May 8th next week. I'm still always available and will likely be his backup. You have my letter of resignation when you get to your point board there, which is for the Industrial Development Authority, which again, kindly thank you for the opportunity to serve. It was an honor. We relocate on June 8th, is I believe the plan. So it's been fun. This was, I guess I'll put it, this was the very first meeting I went to when I assumed the role.
Fitting
Commissioner Vogler was the constant, and I've seen you guys change, and
Okay.
hopefully I've gotten better over the years for you. And Ben will do a great job.
I hope to never disappoint you. I'm always available. Anytime you need anything, please reach out. You know my card.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because there were a couple of times that, thank you so much, Ben. There were a couple of times, I guess I do recall having to call you, John, after some nasty storms.
Yes, indeed.
You were always responsive and helpful, and I'm sure Ben's gonna be equal to that. I didn't mean to cut ahead of you, Morgan. Ben, do you live in Lawrence County?
I do not. I live in Sharon.
Okay, not far.
Yeah, I can get.
Okay, great. We had a Commissioner Wendell Wagner, who I know Commissioner Boyd knew very well. Had you met Wendell along the way? Okay, any relation?
No relation.
And Debbie would remember Commissioner Wagner. No relation. He was a good man.
I hope to continue to try.
Thank you, John.
Awesome.
Thanks.
John, thank you for your
much,
service.
John, thank you, yes.
Appreciate you filling in the role there, and Ben will look forward to working with you. It'll be a good relationship.
Sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck with everything.
All right. Any additional public comments?
Oh, forgive me. Yeah, because my comment, if you don't mind, on this subject. One of the gentlemen that you'll want to meet, if you haven't done so already, is Chad Strobel, who is our public safety director.
We met Chad last night.
Oh,
Fantastic.
very good.
That's great.
Yes.
He'll certainly be a key
Yes.
person again, particularly if,
Yeah.
Let's hope it doesn't happen very often if we get bad storms.
Make sure he has my contacts and
Wonderful.
taken care of.
Excellent, very
And this is
good.
John's first meeting. This isn't my first meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner Boyd.
Absolutely. Any additional? Seeing, I think you have anything for public comment? All right, now. Gotcha. Just want to make sure, I know we were at where we were in the agenda. Want to make sure you have a chance. Fiscal contractual, we have no repository properties up to bid, no advertising bids proposals, no receipt of bids proposals. We do have one warrant registered dated April 29th, 2022. And I'll give my colleagues a minute to check that over, take a motion to accept and file the warrant register. The union got a nice payout.
You know, I was just about to say, I'm looking for larger numbers and seeing them. Nothing extraordinary. Other than what we're used to. I will so move.
Second.
We have motion second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Up next is approval of the minutes from Tuesday, April 26, 2022. Again, I'll give my colleagues a minute to check those over, and take a motion to accept the file or make any changes if necessary next meeting.
I guess I'm confused by something. We have at the top, it says Commissioner Boyd is not in attendance, but then later it says that you made commissioner
That was-
comments.
Mistake. I
Okay,
probably copied and pasted from the last meeting.
so we should note that Commissioner Boyd was in attendance.
Good catch.
I'll just scratch out the word not.
There we go. Commissioner Boyd is in attendance today.
Yes.
The rare occasion.
No, no.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I was at that SPC thing the week before.
Previous,
Right,
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
That's what I did. I
Yep.
copied and pasted.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Motion is second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Sorry, I got distracted there for some reason.
It's
Happens-
that kind of day.
That happens every once in a while. We have no presentation or written communication today. Staff reports. Is there any member of staff that has anything to report above and beyond what's already on the agenda? Seeing none. Commissioner reports and comments. Dan, you're on deck first.
Thank you so much. Two things. It's hard to believe, but the primary election is actually just 2 weeks from today. It snuck up on me. I did hear somebody make the remark they'll be glad when it's over and they don't have to see all the ads on TV, but I did speak briefly this morning with Mr. Germaini, and we don't have it scheduled yet. Obviously, he'll work through you as the chair, but I believe, as we traditionally do, he'll be wanting us to convene the election board possibly the day before the election, the Monday before the election. We don't have a time yet. It's usually in the morning, but we'll keep you posted. And Tim said that things are running well. The period ended for voter registration or to switch parties. That concluded, I think, Monday. Yesterday. Yesterday. Now, the second and final thing, next Tuesday, I will need to phone in to participate in the meeting. I'm going to be driving to Harrisburg. I've been appointed by the current board chair, board president of CCAP, County Commissioner Darrell Miller from Bradford County. He has put together a mission and vision committee for the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania. It's kind of a long-term strategic exercise. And the meeting begins at noon in Harrisburg on Tuesday. So I'll leave early that morning, but along the way at 10 o'clock, I'll stop and phone in. So I apologize that I can't be here in person, but I do hope to participate by phone next week. That's all I have this morning. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you. Loretta, you're on deck,
And I will-
both figuratively and soon to be literally.
There you go. And I won't be here next week and won't be able to phone in because I will be somewhere in the Atlantic, heading south for a nice vacation, a nice cruise. So thank you, Dan, for being able to
Sure.
phone in so that we don't have to cancel a meeting. And of course, Morgan will handle.
You guys are in for it. It's gonna be on the phone. I mean, it's gonna be yes.
I hope you have a good reception.
We will. We'll make it work. over.
Right,
That's assuming you decide there needs to be a meeting.
right.
There is?
Yeah,
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, we're gonna do some budget transfers next week.
Okay.
All right, very good. That's it. That's all I have. Thank you.
For me, over the last year or so, the mayor was gracious enough and city council was gracious enough to appoint me to the Newcastle Transit Authority, which is a city-owned authority, in conjunction with the Shamrock Union and Shenango Townships. Since assuming that board seat, we've been working on a potential model for on-demand public transit, in other words, van service that effectively serves as a public form of Uber. Or a public form of Lyft for those of you who are familiar with those two methods of transportation. The preliminary data has come back, and it's actually very advantageous based on that data. We partnered with engineers at Carnegie Mellon, Southwest Pennsylvania Commission. Dave Richards has been intimately involved. LCAP has been intimately involved through their ACTS program in structuring what might be the first public form of Uber on-demand shuttle service for a rural transit authority in Pennsylvania, period. It's the first, PennDOT invested money into this program. But I want to know that that's slowly proceeding. I had a meeting a couple of weeks ago with Carnegie Mellon, and then Dave Richards and Vanessa Lovely from ACTS met with Carnegie Mellon, I want to say last week to touch base. But the data preliminary data came back. It looks like it's actually very advantageous to structure something on demand. You know, the question with public transit in rural areas is by nature of it being rural, it's inefficient. You know, you have a problem with people getting to the bus stops from their houses, and you have a problem with people getting from the drop-off points to wherever they actually want to go, because everything's so spread out in a rural area. Pittsburgh's not a problem. New York City, that's not a problem. In Lawrence County.
Now that we know we're rural.
Yeah, it is what it is. In Lawrence County, you know, Mercer County,
Yes,
Crawford
yes.
County, it turns into an issue. And so we're literally diving into the data right now, and potentially this time next year, we might have a pilot program out, 1 or 2 shuttles being deployed where you can go into your phone or go into an app or go into a third-party service, request it on demand, hop in the shuttle, and get exactly from point to point where you want to be, which would be the first time in Pennsylvania that service like that exists. So I'm looking forward to continuing into that project. Just wanted to mention, you know, that's one of the things that we're slowly pushing from behind the scenes. And I do want to thank Judge Motto, Josh Lamacusa, ACTS, and Department of Mental Health for funding the local side of that, as well as PennDOT for funding a decent amount of state for that endeavor. That's all I have.
Well, that was good.
Yeah, every once in a while I do
Yeah,
some.
hey, that was wonderful. We've always discussed different things, different types of transportation that are needed and evening things, and that is good to hear that it's happening.
That's just, I mean,
Fantastic.
it's, you know, the fundamental problem with public transportation is first mile, last mile. And if you're able to solve that first mile, last mile, whether it be shuttle service entirely, combination, shuttle gets you to the bus stop, you go to wherever you're going, you pick up another shuttle and go to your final destination. It optimizes the system. It's going to decrease costs. Ultimately, I think it'd be a great thing if we can get it off the ground for Lawrence County and potentially a model for the region.
Right. Yes.
Vince Valdez actually just hooked me up with a company in Atlanta that's done it in a couple of different communities around the United States. But it's a budding study, and it's hopefully we yield some good results.
Good.
All right. Up next, we have our new resolution portion of the circus. Today's jail day.
It is.
We got a lot going on with the jail today.
As far as I know, none of us are going
No, I don't think so.
for permanent reasons.
For lunch.
For lunch.
For lunch, because we will say it is Corrections Officers Week.
All right. Happy
Yes.
birthday.
Yes.
What's the Ronald Reagan quote? Mike, no? There's something effective. There's no profession that's less recognized or more in danger.
It was on the flyer.
Mhm.
Yes. Mhm. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good. I was
Yes.
butchering the quote, so you're good.
I remember the beginning of when you started to say it. It was on the one flyer. Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely.
That's who created
Corrections officers. Yeah.
the week. So yeah, it's jail week today, which means Loretta's going to take the floor more so than I am. And first up, we have a resolution for discussion and possible approval to enter into a settlement and release agreement between Brian Covert and Lawrence County. And the second one is with Jason Hilton. Loretta, I'll let you, as the chairperson of the prison board, I'll let you take the lead on this.
Thank you. Very, very simply put, there has been much discussion and much change at Lawrence County Corrections over the past months. And as part of that, we have had the previous warden and deputy warden on administrative leave, hoping to come up with a settlement for their exodus or departure from the Lawrence County Corrections, Lawrence County completely, as far as employment. Our solicitor, Jason Medor, has been spearheading this, and over the last couple of months, working with the representation from both Jason Hilton and Brian Covert, have come up with a settlement and release agreement that is beneficial to all involved. I don't claim to be an attorney. I'm not an attorney. I will defer any additional comments or explanations for it. I know there's been a lot of discussion with it. It was brought to prison board for discussion and motion, and after reviewing the settlement, the prison board actually voted to recommend that the commissioners approve the settlement and the release agreement to move the Lawrence County Jail forward into a different direction. And so that's what we are here today for, to accept the settlements for both the first resolution and the second one. The first one being for Brian Covert, the second one for Jason Hilton.
Dan, do you have anything to add?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right, we'll make these resolutions 2022-90
90 and 91.
and 91. I'll say before we go to vote on this, I take no pleasure in casting either one of these votes.
Right.
In an ideal world, we wouldn't have to do this. The alternative to these release agreements is a very long and very costly federal lawsuit, where it's a coin toss who wins.
Yes.
And so in the long run, while this is not a pleasant action that the board is taking today, the alternative would cost the taxpayers a hell of a lot more in taxpayer dollars.
And it's like you said, it's a coin toss what the outcome would be.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that our solicitor really dug into this and did what he could to come up with a comparable settlement for both, so that we can move forward and not have our corrections facility be in limbo, not knowing what's going to happen in the future. And it could be several years down the road for something more to happen with it. So I agree with you. It is not pleasant, but a necessity. Yes.
I will take a motion to approve, we'll just do these together, 2022-90 and 2022-91.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Up next, and we'll jump back to the jail. 91 or 92, Ben, is a resolution for discussion of possible approval of entering into a contract extension with Zelenkovsky Axelrod for auditing services. Right now, Zelenkovsky Axelrod does our audits. This is simply extending their contract to allow them to continue to do our audits.
Yes.
And it's actually pretty good pricing. I mean, the pricing is underneath the rate of inflation in terms of what their increases are, which is much appreciated. So we'll take a motion to approve 92.
So moved.
Second with a comment, please.
Sure.
They have performed well for us, I believe, through the years. And we've had on and off discussion and contemplation about putting the auditing service out for RFP, for proposals. However, in again, discussion amongst ourselves and in consultation with Controller Prestapine, I think that the informal conclusion has been reached that we do need to keep them on board for a few more years. one of the primary reasons is they are guiding us relative to the American Rescue Plan dollars that we have received in terms of what we can and cannot do with those dollars, how they can be spent, et cetera. So I think the day will come that we'll need to do an RFP. But I don't think that day is today, and I'm glad we've reached the consensus that we'll continue to work with these folks for the next few years. I think it's a prudent thing to do. So my second will stand. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Loretta. We're turning it back over to you.
Okay,
This is the better.
this is a more positive note. Our acting warden superintendent, our superintendent of Lawrence County Corrections,
Morning, Commissioners.
Superintendent Lawmeister. I will let him take the microphone because this is something that he has spearheaded and diligently worked to get this contract, get this proposal to us. And again, it did go through prison board, just for clarification. It was brought up at prison board, it was approved from prison board to bring to the attention of Lawrence County Commissioners for a vote for approval, since it is a contract. Please.
You're welcome to sit if you'd like.
Yes.
I'm good, thanks. What I got here is the signed agreement from the Washington County Commissioners approving us housing for inmates at the Lawrence County Jail. Like I said, they've already signed off on it, so if I can get approval, I can start moving inmates in immediately. They're gonna cover all transportation, they will also cover all medical. So we're responsible for transportation.
And we're looking at $50 a day, not to exceed $50,000 a year to the county of Lawrence in revenue.
I have a couple of questions, if I may.
Go ahead if you so choose, but I think that 50,000 is a low number. Maybe another zero might need added on to that.
I mean, even housing 20 of them.
Right, that's,
$50 a day.
I know,
That's
that-
30,000 in 1 month.
yes,
So,
yeah, yes.
Thank you. I want to clarify the fact that if you're wondering, well, you know, where does the rest of the prison board play into this? And as Commissioner Spielvogel noted, this was discussed at the prison board. But when it comes to contracts, the county code is clear that only the Board of Commissioners can enter into contracts. So that explains why the document that the warden has the signature of our three counterparts in Washington County. That's why the three of us will put our signatures to this contract as well. Secondly, I know you've had preliminary discussions with another county, and that discussion involves potentially female inmates. As it relates to Washington, will it be male and female?
Beginning with, it's just gonna be female. I've also had, like you said, discussion with actually two other
So
guys
that's great.
to house female inmates, so I'm just waiting on a response back.
Okay, very much appreciate your diligence on this. It's as noted, it's revenue for the county. And since our census right now is relatively low compared to previous years, it's a good opportunity. The final thing I'll make note of is that you and District Attorney Lamancusa have something in common. Anytime he appears before us, he also stands. I don't know if you noted that, but so you'll have to talk with him about it.
It's a military thing, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Boyd, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Warden. Appreciate your work on this. Thank you. Superintendent,
Superintendent, we're in the midst of.
whatever the hell we're here, you're the
Whatever.
boss over there. You're the boss. You're running the show.
Yes.
All right, I will take a motion to approve 93.
So moved.
Second.
We have motion is second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
I just have a very, very minor, very technical, and I just want it entered into the record. It doesn't have to, I don't think we have to amend the resolution. But Washington County is a very common name for counties throughout the country. I think if we just note for the record that this is Washington County, Pennsylvania, with whom we are entering this contract. I'm sure it specifies that on the contract, but I just wanted that known that it is the County of Washington in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Appreciate your putting up with my little idiosyncrasy there. Thank you.
Up next, 94, accepting the resignation of John Greenwood from the Lawrence County Industrial Development Authority. John, again, thank you for your service. Greatly appreciate
Yes.
your willingness to serve on that board. We know it's a relatively inactive board, but nonetheless, if any large industrial development comes along, it'll become a very, very relevant board to the operations of the
Yes.
county in terms of issuing bonds and working with large-scale industrial development, which we will hopefully be seeing more
Yes,
of in
yes.
future years. Also, Wild Grape Road.
I know, I just noticed,
That's that whole name of a road.
yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shannon.
Did you name that?
I did not.
I think that's back where Rusty Nogle lives, back in that development off. You're off of Shenango Road, aren't
Yep, right behind the township building, that
Yes.
development there.
you? Aaron King lives back there.
Yeah, first
So,
off.
Jason. That's right,
Yes,
Jason
yes,
Medora,
yes.
Judge
Okay.
McCormick, Judge McCracken.
Okay.
A lot of people, a lot of important people live in that neighborhood.
Not that.
They're losing
Commissioner.
All right, any questions, comments on?
It just dawned on me, and I'm sure you've given thought to it as well, but, and I don't know if it's too soon to do it today, but since this is an authority, we are gonna have to make that twice announcement and indicating that the
Yes.
opening, can't do that until we act on this. Thank you. Thank you, John, for your service.
Very welcome.
You'll be missed.
Still come up from time to time.
Yes.
It's not that far. All right, I'll take a motion for 94.
So moved.
Second,
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, we have Becky with a CDBG revision for a project we're working on in South Newcastle Borough.
Oh, you're gonna sit.
I am.
I'm teasing you. I'm just teasing.
Have a seat. I mean, have a seat.
Yes, this is CDBG 2016. We are doing a revision for an overage from the South Newcastle Borough Street Improvement Project. We are requesting to revise that money into an open rehab, housing rehab for 2019. So it's all county money, so it's going to be county rehab.
We
for
will,
2019.
we will probably need, in addition to this, maybe next week, a budget amendment.
Yes, I think it was done prior.
So that's, handle that. Any questions, comments for Becky?
Help the slow guy here. The 9936.14.
Right.
Had been earmarked for the Byers Avenue project in the borough of South Newcastle, came in under budget.
Correct.
So that dollar amount, as you just indicated, is gonna go towards housing. But that won't be specific for the borough of South Newcastle, or
No.
will it? It'll be more or less in the
It's all,
general
yeah,
operation.
the actual Newcastle Borough project was a countywide project.
Yes,
It's not an OBL,
right,
so it's still countywide money,
yes.
so it's going to go filter out to countywide.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Rebecca. Thank you, Chairman.
I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second. Good motion, second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Up next, 96 is the budget amendment here, increasing HSBG retained earnings revenue fund account by $288,749 and increasing MH housing supports HSBG retained earnings expense fund by $288,749. Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming this is, we're gonna have some carryover funding
Yeah, that's carryover from 2021, I believe. And the reason for the amount of carryover, a lot of the reason is COVID related. Schools were closed, the services that were being provided in the schools was not needed at that time. So they do have a larger carryover than normal. Fortunately, with the block grant model, that allows them to carry it over and utilize that spending for the current fiscal year and beyond.
Questions, comments? No. All right, I'll take a motion to approve 96.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Couple administrative transfers here, MHDS, moving 3,000 from their contingency to their advertising. Now, these are big numbers, but keep in mind, the budget for MHDS is like 11 million.
Yeah.
Moving to advertise. I want to say you guys recently restarted or maybe reinitiated the advisory board group.
Well, yes, it's the advisory board, and we also do our mental health awareness in the early summer.
Mhm.
So that advertising will be getting out as well and posted for the community walk and the different things that happen.
One of the things we started budgeting based on trends, and obviously with the COVID
Right.
over the last couple of years, it impacts our trends, so this just wasn't accounted for whenever I was putting together that budget. And then the next is some vehicle maintenance from domestic relations, moving $1,300 from their contingency into their vehicle maintenance. The vehicle get a little old and takes a little bit more tender loving care to get it where it needs to be. So I'll take a motion, unless there are any questions or comments, I'll take a motion to approve administrative transfers one time.
So moved.
Second. Motion second, any further discussion here, none, question on the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. We have no ordinances on the table, no ordinances for introduction, no ordinances for final action. Next regularly scheduled, a lot of things. Next regularly scheduled commissioners meeting will be Tuesday, May 10th in this room. As has been noted, me and Joe and I will be the only two people physically present. Dan will be present by phone, and Loretta will be on a cruise getting a tan. Which we're very jealous.
I like that.
Planning Commission meeting Wednesday, May 11th at noon at Taylor Township. Election Day is Tuesday, May 17th. There won't be a commissioners meeting that day as we tend to the affairs of the election. And there will be a prison board meeting on Wednesday, May 18th, 2022 at 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock.
No, that's a typo.
That's a typo.
12, this should be.
Right.
12.
Yeah, 12 o'clock
Leave
noon
that one there.
in the commissioners meeting room. And we'll make the first announcement. There's a vacancy on the IDA. Okay, so we'll get that over with. Any additional public comments at this time? Great, look at that. We got a call rate. Somebody's calling
Yeah,
in.
go ahead.
We got that on full call.
Are you aware of what's happening with that North Church?
Yes.
Yes.
Positive thing, and the city's really stepping in, the county.
Yes.
I mean, that's a blessing because those guys came from out of nowhere. So that's a good thing. The other issue is on voting. Saw the big article in the paper on mail-in voting. I'm very personally involved, and I believe everybody should have a chance to vote and make it easy as well. I'm blessed, even at my old age, I can still vote, although I vote for mail. What I would like to say is that I'm not going to mention Lay's name because I'm not sure, and I think she's something in the Republican Party said she was vehemently opposed to it in that article. And all I can say is I hope she was vehemently opposed to the Trump right-hand man in the White House being registered to vote in 3 states, North Carolina, South Carolina. So let's work together and get some stuff done. Thanks for
Noted.
doing your thing about mail-in voting.
Thanks,
You two I'll talk to later.
It's all right. Thank you. Any additional
Thank you, Dave.
public comments? Looking around, anything additional from my colleagues?
No, sir.
Oh, good.
Good shape, Joe?
Good.
Vanessa?
Okay.
Adjourned.
Awesome.
Joe's gonna do that. Debbie and give her.